And welcome, everybody, to the 46th edition of the Deserve to Win podcast. As always, I'm your host, Eric J. Troutman, the czar of the TCPA, the czar of just about everything these days. And I am so incredibly excited because, as you can see right here, we have our Cal football helmet. And today we're going to be talking to the Super Bowl winning, two-time NFL Coach of the Year, General Manager of the California Golden Bears, Ron Rivera. I mean, this guy is legitimately famous, and he's going to be talking Cal football with us. I know this is like a TCPA, data privacy AI podcast, but whatever. You're going to listen, you're going to stick around, and you're going to listen to this amazing preview of Cal college football that we're going to have with Coach Rivera, and you're going to watch the games, and you're going to love it, because Cal football is exhilarating and wonderful, and we are the official, folks, the official law firm of Cal Athletics, the University of California at Berkeley. That's Troutman Amin. But who do we have here at this podcast? We'll start with you, my dear.
Hi, guys. My name is Brittany Andres. I'm a partner here at Troutman Amin and also known as the Baroness of TCPA World,
Troutman
like
Amin,
my cup says.
The official law firm of the University of California at Berkeley. And who are you?
My name is Oliver. I'm an associate here at Troutman Amin.
The official law firm of the University of California. And who are you?
Hi, folks. I'm Pooja Amin, also known as Queenie of TCPA World, and a partner at Troutman Amin, the official law firm of Cal Berkeley.
Let's go. So honestly, I don't even want to talk about TCPA. Let's just talk about college football.
Sounds good.
Let's go.
Scratch all the cases.
Yeah, scratch all the cases. Let's go.
Nothing happened.
I literally could not be more excited. Like that. This is, being the official law firm of Cal Athletics comes with many perks, but, being able to have access to Coach, Ron Rivera is just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Having our NIL deals that we have with Rico Walker and AJ Tuitele, two incredibly talented stand-up individual student athletes and developing into fine men that you can just see. You can just see the way these gentlemen handle themselves and go about their business. To be able to support them, to support their program. I cannot wait to talk to the coach. But hey, let's pretend like we're lawyers and we're going to talk about TCPA developments. Why not? Let's start with Aaron Michael Jones.
That's a good one to start with.
Aaron Michael Jones. This is the guy that's the wizard. You're not the wizard. You're beautiful Oliver, and I love you, but you're not nearly as beautiful as the wizard. The wizard is PJ. And you remember when we were in his art studio, like episode 3 or 4, and he goes, we brought up Aaron Michael Jones, and he was like, that guy's a scumbag, right? And PJ doesn't talk that kind of trash, right? So if PJ is calling somebody a scumbag, this is a bad dude. Well, Aaron Michael Jones is allegedly, and really I guess, he's been found to be just a massive robocaller, a guy that has just unleashed waves, millions, perhaps billions of robocalls on the nation. And the state of Ohio, their attorney general went after the guy and successfully delivered a verdict, not a verdict, but a judgment of $83,716,000. It's a lot of money, but you got to ask yourself, if you're really making billions of calls, I mean, shouldn't the penalties be even a little bit higher? I don't know.
Well, how many people were in the class?
I don't know. I mean, if you dig in, it was part of look, this ruling was long, right? And I have not had a chance to completely digest it because, as we're about to see, we've got so much going on. There's so much going on right now. But yeah, $83 million, and it's not just against him. There's a person named Stacy Yim, Lavia Zeromi, and then a bunch of entities, Fuel Telecom, Geist Telecom, Moby Telecom, Tech Direct LLC. So yeah, pretty bad news for him, but good news, I think, for the rest of us. What do you guys think?
I mean, the state of Ohio, right, has a pattern of coming down with these kind of rulings, so I'm glad that they got stuck on Aaron Michael Jones. I mean, I agree with you. The $83 million seems like a large number to us, but given how much he's been giving trouble for a while, right? Like, we've been hearing about him for years, it feels like. So, I mean, good for the state of Ohio for getting the bad actors out of the way, kind of. I mean, this is what we like to see, right? This is what we talk about during our reach meetings all the time, is let's let the bad actors be known. And so I appreciate the state of Ohio doing just that.
Yeah. Anything else, Britt? What you got?
Yeah, I mean, this just goes to show, again, like, you don't see these types of awards and judgments and other violations of statutes and litigation. Like, the TCPA is extremely serious and dangerous, and this just goes to show just that. I mean, $83 million, that's enough to take so many companies out of business. And so, yeah, take this seriously.
Yeah, he's got 10 days to pay. I wonder what happens.
10
I wonder
days?
what happens if he doesn't pay in 10 days. Like, You know, I looked into that recently. Like, what if you just can't pay? Do you go to jail? I didn't think there was like debtors' prisons. I don't know. Ollie, any thoughts?
No, I mean, just besides the fact that this is what we talk about in Reach, just being good enterprises, doing things the right way. You know, sometimes it can sound like a broken record, but, you know, it's good to be part and good to do the right thing.
Britt, I know you got something you want to talk about. I'll let you bring it up. Go ahead.
Oh, we're already switching topics.
We're switching.
Oh, we move fast around here.
Look, we got to be zippy. We got to get to Coach.
Oh, okay. Gerald Lane.
Oh,
Let's talk about
geez.
that one.
Oh, geez, Gerald.
So we've talked about many times on this podcast. We've talked about, I guess, our focus was on Jabril Hindi, which he has his own law firm, which is the Hindi law firm.
And his own problems, which we'll talk about another time, but keep going.
Leaving that alone. Well, Gerald Lane is an attorney at the Hindi Law Group, or whatever his law firm is. And so he's filed so many of these class actions, probably most of them under the quiet hour provisions, but just constantly filing these class actions, right? But not litigating them. And the courts take notice of that. If you file a suit and either don't follow up on it or nothing else happens on the docket, the court will set an OSC, which is an order to show cause of the failure to prosecute. And so that's kind of what happened in this case. The case is called...
Juarez.
What is it?
Juarez versus the Gold Warehouse.
Juarez versus the Golden Warehouse. The Gold Warehouse, excuse me. Apparently 90 days passed with no action on the docket, and so the court set an OSC. But get this, it wasn't just an OSC to explain why he didn't prosecute the case. The court ordered him to list out all the cases that he has filed, and where the courts have also set another OSC or a failure to prosecute in those cases.
How many were there? Punchline.
He's
About
filed more than
700,
No, he filed
he
700.
filed more than 700.
But
He's been subject to 145,
145
which is insane.
orders to show cause. 145. I mean, to put that in perspective, I've been litigating for 23 years, and I've only had one. And that was like last year because of a former associate. Leave that alone. But in all seriousness, right? Like 145 in a 2-year stretch
That is a
in
lot.
one district. That's insane.
That is a lot.
And you got the sense the court knew, right? Because I mean, the order was kind of lean in its wording, but it was like, I've noticed that you filed over 700 cases, so why don't you tell me how many OSCs you've had? Like, you know, the court knew this was going to be a big number, and holy crap, it's a big number.
Well,
No,
the best part about it is they asked for him to show cause because the court noted that the defendant got a default. So you got the defendant to enter a default, but you didn't do anything about it. What good plaintiff attorney or any attorney, if your opposing party got a default judgment, why aren't you doing anything about it? And the court, that raised the court's eyebrows. Like, are you actually doing something on your cases?
Well, 145 OSCs, and he's only been sanctioned about
Like
$250.
Yeah.
Which is
Very
not,
minimal.
that also doesn't add up. Like, okay, courts, I see that you're acknowledging it, but now what are we doing about it to prevent it from happening
So you're going to
further?
blame the court?
No.
Oh, you heard that?
I'm
Counsel
just raising it.
Andres
I'm just raising
says
it.
the judiciary in the Central District of California is
Isn't tough
Needs to
enough.
get
complicit.
tightened up.
I think you should go
I'm
take
just
over.
kidding. I'm just kidding.
My list is still.
Just a
They
note.
may not have like the full history, right? So
Yeah.
I think like the next time a defense counsel comes up, just kind of do what folks did with the Vivek Shah ones, right? Like bring it to
Right.
the court's attention. Let's hammer this guy.
Be
but
be encyclopedic about it. Just show like, hey, they're filing all these cases. There's 700, 145 orders to show cause. Nothing is happening. Tell the court that,
Yeah.
hey, nothing is happening. And at the very least, you already have a case that shows Gerald Lane did not do anything.
Yeah.
Maybe they only fined him $250, but your reputation takes a hit, no doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, better yet, take it up to Chief District Judge Brittany Andres.
Keep that in mind.
She'll put a stop. She'll put a stop to that. Pooja, what you got?
oh, do you remember David Tom? We had him on our podcast. What number was it?
Isn't that the guy that did the Reddit post?
Yeah, no, he was on our podcast, and he's the guy that said, if he dies, he dies, saying he doesn't care if he puts small businesses out of business. But is his name David Tom? I know he's got two names. I know his last name
David
is Tom.
Tom.
Was it,
Yeah,
was
it's
it David Tom?
It's
Okay,
David Tom.
all right.
He was in his basement, I think. He was like the guy who doesn't mind going after small businesses.
He was the guy that claimed he got fired because he got too many robocalls.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, sorry,
No,
keep going.
You got fired because you were too busy trying to figure out how to fabricate TCPA claims, obviously, as evidenced by this case, Tom v. Delancey out of the Eastern District of New York. So this one I love, right? The court just got straight to it, had like the proper, rulings on it, and very logical, right? So this guy receives text messages. The text messages, the opt-out instructions were text stop to say stop, right? Or to stop messages, and yes for more information. And he brings claims against the internal DNC regulations, and this guy responds yes, right? And so the court, yeah, Brittany's face, yeah. So, and the court noted that and said, well, hold up, right? Any text messages after the yes were essentially an inquiry consent and don't go towards your 2 minimum per DNC violations. And so the court kind of kicked it. And then more importantly, right, his stop or his revocation was not stop as instructed by the text messages. It was something like, please stop texting me, but keep emailing me.
No, it's even better. It was don't text me, email me only, about to board a plane, no cell signal, so Wi-Fi works a lot better.
That is
That's the entire phrase.
That's the whole opt-out?
That's the whole opt-out.
That's what he claims as opt-out. And the court looks at that, he's like, bro, you're not opting out. You're just saying you're getting on an airplane, dude. Like, that's all this is.
And then it gets even better because the defendant stopped the text messages within 4 days, right? So they complied with the 10-day rule. So, the court was essentially putting check marks next to all the defendant's arguments, which I loved. Yeah. And so the defendant won on his motion to dismiss. It saved the text equals calls arguments for later, so they didn't really address that, even though the defense brought it up. And then, more importantly, the defense also won on the caller ID issue.
That's
right?
the big one. To me,
that's
the
real
one.
big
That's
one. Yeah.
case for us.
And so the court said, the majority view for the caller ID regulations, recall, folks, that there have been some new claims that have been coming out. We argue that, there's no private right of action, and the court correctly, in my opinion, stated and ruled that there's no private right of action for the caller ID violations, and so tossed it on those grounds, too, out of New York. So really good defense win here.
Well, I mean, this is a bad facts make bad law for the plaintiff.
For the plaintiff,
Yeah.
Right? I mean, think about this. The guy gets a text message, and the question's like, do you want more information? He literally responds, yes. And then he sues for the messages he receives after he literally responded yes. Can you imagine being a federal judge with that fact pattern?
Do they not know how the law works? I mean, clearly not, but...
But you know who he had a lawyer. You know who the lawyer was? The Wolf.
Oh, wow.
This is an Anthony Peronic case, which is
Interesting.
even more surprising to me. I'm not sure where he was coming from with this. But again, if you're the federal judge and you've got a text message case clogging your docket, a purported TCPA class action, and the guy said yes, and then he tries to set up a revocation with, hey, I'm getting on an airplane. I mean, the judge was going to find a way to hurt him, and he did, right? Because... characterizing the no private right of action on the caller ID piece as the majority position, wow, that is helpful, man. That is helpful. So, I mean, I feel like that whole, anywhere in the state of New York now, at least, maybe even within the Second Circuit, that argument is dead. Unfortunately, it's very strong elsewhere in the country, though, right now. So.
And then one just last takeaway from with my compliance hat on with this case is, when opt-out instructions aren't required in text messages, right, under the TCPA, but for folks, most folks sending text messages do utilize those opt-out instructions. I think it is important to have very clear opt-out instructions. So if a court looking at any type of revocation case can look at it and be like, the instruction said press stop in caps, right? You probably should have replied stop in caps, right? Or, just using that reasonable standard of whether the consumer actually reasonably opted out. The courts correctly are looking at it. So something to keep in mind.
It's a big one. Very, very big win. Ollie, what do you got for us, baby?
Well, I'm a little bit of a nerd about arbitration. I think the last couple times I've been on this podcast, I've talked about it, and so I'm bringing you a Dabrowski case.
Ah, very good.
So what happened was Rocket Mortgage basically was giving Dabrowski 20 calls. Dabrowski allegedly said his name is on the DNC registry, don't stop calling me. He sued Rocket Mortgage, made a motion to dismiss, and then decided also to make a motion to compel arbitration. And this is where it gets interesting. So the arbitration covers the subject matter. It was conspicuous. It showed up, the disclosures. But the main thing Dombrowski said is, hey, I never actually filled out the form. I never submitted anything. And so I believe this was in the Sixth Circuit. The Sixth Circuit said, okay, once you bring a motion to compel, that's it. Everything else gets stayed. Nothing. You're going to do a mini trial or a discovery just purely on whether Dombrowski submitted your form. And for me, that's pretty telling because then, you've seen so many cases where people are filing motion to dismiss, motion to stay, discovery motions. But the court here pretty much said, once you make a motion to compel, everything else is halted.
Yep.
And I think that was very telling because if you are a client and you can show that, hey, they submitted a form, we had an arbitration provision, you can save yourself expenses and at least just focus on something very narrowly tailored.
We talk about it all the time. Arbitration is so important.
Yeah.
It's such a great sword. We've covered this kind of repeatedly, but I got to ask a question. Let's just zoom out for a second. Why the hell is Rocket calling Dombrowski? Like, you would think, like, Rocket, like, you guys
He's a
have got to...
serial litigator.
Like,
Come on
you
now.
got to be better than that.
Yeah.
Like, Dombrowski, and I get it. He's probably got, like, 60 phones.
I was
and
gonna say maybe he picked up a new line, so
Yeah.
he must
maybe,
have.
yeah.
Right? I don't get it. Like, how are you calling Dombrowski still? I don't know. Anyway, I just want to call you out for that, Rocket, because I don't know about all that. but I mean, look, I'll be very, very interested to see what happens here.
Yeah.
Right? Because Dombrowski, I give him respect. We call him the sheriff around here. He likes to fight, and sometimes he does a good job. We talked about the caller ID issue earlier, and that literally was a Dombrowski special against Select Quote, which I'll never let them live that down. I'll be curious to see, does Rocket go all the way to arbitration trial against Dombrowski? I hope you do. Keep him busy. Keep
Right.
him busy. Very good. Anything else on that one?
If there's another one, I think there's a fax case that's also pretty interesting.
Well, we'll talk about faxes here in a second. I mean, that's got to take last place. We got some other
football
stuff to talk
comes
about
before
first.
faxes.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I agree with that.
I'd rather get an interview.
Let's go.
Pooja, anything else you want to cover?
No.
I want to cover one more case then, if you guys
The
are all,
Czar marketing
all
group.
petered out.
Oh, the Czar
Of
marketing
course.
one.
I was
Yes,
gonna. I was
what did
like,
think
let me
last
do it,
week?
but then
Yeah.
of
Come
course
on,
Eric's
Czar
gonna want
has
to
to take
cover
the Czar
it.
marketing
But I'll
one.
add some. I'll add
You
some
add some
comments
color.
on it.
Yeah, we need some color. I mean,
That one's fun.
First of all, can I like go after them on a trademark
Trademark
infringement?
Well, did you register Zara?
I've been using it in commerce long enough. I think everybody knows. Anytime you hear the word czar, do you not think of me? Do you not think of Eric Troutman? I'm pretty sure.
Especially
that
in this
is like,
space. Are you kidding me?
This is
Yeah.
like ubiquitous, right? So that somebody's got something called Czar Marketing Group. I mean, is that not them attempting to profit off of my
I
goodwill?
wonder when they were incorporated.
I'm just kidding. I have no reason to believe that they're doing that.
If
To be
they
clear,
were
if I
a
thought that they
lead
were doing it though, I would go after them so hard.
How
But
fun if they actually did that.
I don't know. That'd be pretty wild, right? I
Yeah.
guess we should give a little PSA, like, hey, I have nothing to do with Czar Marketing Group.
I wouldn't even go after them. I think that'd be kind of cool if
You
you're
think it'd
like,
be
hey,
kinda
I have a
cool?
lead generation company. And he's in the TCPA space. Is our
No,
marketing
but I don't
group.
want people like borrowing my name.
Yeah,
If
and they
and
had
plus
a,
they got sued.
had a crappy ruling too now. So
Oh,
forget
guys, like
them.
check this out. This
Yeah.
might be. This might be the worst ruling of the year from a certain perspective. Okay, and it really goes to show like how litigation really works, right? So much of litigation, especially complex litigation, where like both sides have all these guns pointed at each other all the time, right? Like we've got a massive team of killers, and we are constantly able to create leverage and cause trouble. The other side, very sophisticated plaintiffs' lawyers, they also have a tremendous ability to really kind of put you to your paces and make, frankly, your client spend money. But we can't be going nuclear all the time, right? Because if you were, then like no one could afford a defense. Like we're expensive enough as it is, but really the way complex litigation gets done, especially in litigation discovery, is with deals, right? You got to cut deals with the other side. I'm, of course, like a world-class deal maker. Everybody knows that. I'm very, very good at kind of getting to what matters, trimming everything else down, and disarming the other side without having to actually go to court, right? That's, I think, frankly, what I'm best at in the whole wide world. But part of that is you have to keep your promises, right? If you give your word, you have to keep it. And one of the reasons I enjoy the superb reputation that I do and the superb results that we're able to deliver is because if I tell you I'm going to do something, I do it. If I tell you something is true, it is true. Period. Always. Not sometimes, not most of the time, literally always. And so what this case really represents, this case called Gramps versus Czar Marketing, is the defense counsel representing Czar Marketing promised opposing counsel, this is Chris Gold, who's on our podcast, and Chris did a really nice job here, promised Chris that she was going to produce, I think it was a lady, it could have been a guy, I don't know, that a production was going to be made of certain CRM records and some other records. The time came, the date came for the production. Nothing. And the attorney asked for a little bit more time, and to Chris Gold's good credit, he was like, no, I'm bringing a motion. You told me X, you didn't keep your word, I'm bringing a motion. Now, the lawyer ended up then producing a record, but the record that was produced was, one, insufficient. It was just one record. And two, it looked like a doctored version of an earlier record that had already been produced. Like, all the other pieces of the document were the same, except for, like, there was, like, one little change, including, like, a weather app that had, like, the same temperature, apparently. So, I mean, either, like, it all took place at the exact same time with the exact same temperature, or this was a fabricated record. So Chris Gold immediately brings this to the court's attention, which is great. And the court looks at the situation and starts off with the words. Let me see what the phrase is here. That the defense counsel, quote, failed to follow through on the promises that were made. And as a result of that failure to follow through, and as a result of the inability of the defense counsel to explain this kind of wonky record, this court did something I've never, ever seen before in my entire life. It set an evidentiary hearing and required all three defendants to show up live and in person in court down there in Florida in front of the judge and bring a laptop and grant instant, real-time, comprehensive access to their CRM live with the plaintiff's lawyer there in the courthouse. That's nuts.
That's crazy.
Right? But it just goes to show you, one, how powerful federal judges are. They can order you to do just about anything they want, so long as it's consistent with, trying to get to the truth. And two, this judge is mad, right? I mean, you can tell the judge believed that Chris Gold did a good job. He was diligent. He pushed the issue. He brought it directly to the court's attention. And this court was very displeased that the defense counsel said one thing and did another. This judge was not happy. And again, I think everyone was troubled by this record. So Czar Marketing, you got some explaining to do, as so do a couple of other defendants that are involved here. I will be fascinating. The hearing is on August 24th at 10 a.m. in Ocala. I'm not going to be there in person, but I'll be very fascinated to see how that turns out.
Before then,
Britt, what are you thinking, Britt?
Well, we see discovery fights happen all the time, right? It's our job as defense counsel to ensure that a bunch of class data doesn't get in the hands of plaintiff's counsel. So what I found interesting in this case is that it's not even about class data. We're talking about just records, namely related to the named plaintiff only, which shouldn't be burdensome for a client to pull, right? That should be an easy pull. We're focusing on one phone number, one consumer, and so they should be able to put it in and pop out goes the record. So there has to be some sort of disconnect, maybe, with, I think you pointed out this in your blog, with the counsel and the client, perhaps. We don't know, obviously, what happened there. There had to have been a breakdown. But if there was so, why didn't counsel communicate that to Chris Gold if they weren't able to reach him? So I just found that part interesting because it was this is plaintiff's data, right? And that should have been easy to turn over.
And with my dealings with Chris Gold, he's a reasonable guy.
Yeah.
He'll give you your extensions. He's pretty reasonable. And if there's something to be dismissed or let go, he'll work with you, right?
Yeah.
Or at least he works with us. Maybe it's a Troutman Amin special. I don't know.
Well, I think Brittany's got a point though, because there's an element of transparency that needs to happen too, right? I mean, and you've seen this happen, right? Where a client is not getting back to us. They're not providing responses. We promised that we would get you a supplement by X day. Dude, we're 24 hours from the deadline and the client hasn't gotten back to us. What do we do?
Yeah.
We pick up the phone. In this situation, I'd say, hey, Chris, listen, man, I told you that I would have this data to you tomorrow. I can't get a hold of my client. So I'm going to keep pushing on them. And as soon as I get it, I swear to you, I'll get it over to you. But I just wanted to give you a heads up, right? And generally speaking, like the plaintiff's lawyers understand that, right? And, worst case scenario, now you're going to court and telling the court honestly, like, look, my client has gone quiet, you know? And if that's what the client has done, the lawyer's job is not to pretend like something else is going on or to hide or to shirk responsibility. right? The lawyer's job is to make sure the client understands what needs to take place and to push that client to do what needs to take place. Of course, always protecting the client's rights, asserting proper objections. But if the client has decided to ghost, if that's what happened, we don't know. But if that's what happened, I mean, the lawyer's job is not to hide that, right? The lawyer's job is to try to get to a resolution, and sometimes that means, hey, we need some more time. Sometimes that means, Your Honor, can you give me a court order that says now they have to do this so that I can tell them, hey, really, really, and if they don't, then I withdraw, right? So there's different steps that you take, but what happened here, it looks like, is just the lawyer just kind of said, and blew it off, right? This is an unfortunate situation. We don't know what happened. By the way, I shouldn't say that the client in this situation did blow off the lawyer or something. We don't know, right? We don't know, right? We're speculating. All we know is that the lawyer said something was going to happen, and then it didn't happen. If that camera just shut off, I think it might have, but that's okay. All right. Anything else that we should cover?
No, I think that's good. Unless Ollie wants to talk about a fax case. But
No.
you guys
Cal
don't want to hear
Bears,
about the
let's
fax
go.
case. Let's go to
Let's
coach.
get to
Let's
the Bears.
go to coach.
All right, and now to the power of the Troutman Amin LLP law firm, the official law firm of the University of California, Berkeley Cal Athletics. I bring you an exclusive interview with the coach, Ron Rivera. And now to the power of the Troutman Amin LLP law firm. I'm so happy to bring you an interview with two-time NFL Coach of the Year, Super Bowl winner, and now general manager at the University of California at Berkeley, Coach Ron Rivera. Coach, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Eric. I appreciate you guys having me on. Looking forward to this conversation.
Man, it is such a pleasure. As everybody knows, right, we are the official law firm of Cal Athletics. We are so pleased, as always, this year to be sponsoring and really supporting the student athletes in the University of California at Berkeley. Coach, if you could just give us a high level, man, what should the good people at home be looking forward to for this wonderful football season that's about to start here in just a week or so?
Well, I tell you, based on the things that we've done in the offseason, through the generous support of Troutman Amin, we've been able to really step our program up. We finished with the 14th ranked portal. We have a top 20 high school recruiting class. So a lot of positive things have happened. What we're looking for is improved play on the football field for sure. I think we can win a lot of games this year. We've got to go out and play to our ability, though. One of the things that's been really exciting has been the continued growth and development of our quarterback, Jaron-Keawe Sagapolutele. I mean, he's having a terrific camp. One of the things that we stuck to our philosophy, and that was we wanted to make sure we could protect him. So we went out and brought in several guys through the portal. Then we thought, we got to put great playmakers around him. So we went around and got a bunch of dynamic guys to go with the solid players that we have already. And you already see the difference. We've got a very steady running back group right now, led by Adam Muhammad and Carter Vargas, two transfers that both came in and have really lit things up. So a lot of excitement right now on the football field for our program.
Yeah, Sagapolutele, man, JKS. His initials are known nationwide. Unquestionably one of the finest quarterback talents in the entire country this year. Do we expect to see him take a step forward if we can keep him upright?
Absolutely, and again, that's why part of our emphasis going through the portal was to see if we can grab some really quality players to help start, and also quality players to help back up. I mean, we've got to be strong on both ends of starters and backup players. If we keep him up with the talent that we're able to bring in, getting Ian Strong, Chase Hendricks, Cooper Perry. I mean, those three guys were big time transfers that really fit very, very nicely for us with that wide receiving crew that we have. And then you add the tight end talent that we brought in. Rico Walker was one of them. Dorian Thomas was another one. And then you couple that with Minnie, who was a player for us last year. Number 85 just did a solid job. And then we brought in a really solid young player, tight end for us from Hawaii. He's a guy that we really think can come in and do a lot of the positive things for us and really add some depth to that position as well. And, he's Tamani Purcell. He's from the island, and Jaron and he grew up close to each other. So he's got a real familiar guy that's going to be around him, and he's a true freshman. I mean, these are some really quality. Oh, yeah. And that's why we talked about this earlier off air, Eric, just how loaded this group is. And it's one of those things that we have the ability to be a very dynamic offense now.
No, I really feel like Cal has always been elite at the skill position, right? When you think about like who's putting quarterbacks into the league, who's putting the running backs into the league, you're always looking at Cal, right? And I feel like somehow this year we have even more, even a deeper, more dynamic group of skill players than we've ever seen, at least to my eye. You never know till they get on the field, right? But that's kind of the way it looks, shaping up.
Absolutely. And you want to get even further as far as skill positions. You can talk about the defensive backs we have, Ricky Fletcher, Kingston Loop. I mean, we've got Mouthlid, a linebacker we brought in. I mean, and then AJ Tuitele. I mean, you look at that second level. We've got a little bit of a nickname as we're considered one of the DBUs. We could totally put defensive backs into the NFL, and we had another one drafted relatively high. So again, we feel very good, as you said, about the skilled positions, both offensively and defensively.
Well, so we're talking about JKS coming back. We're talking about a bunch of new talent we have around him, but there's one very, very important new talent that we need to talk about, which is we've got a new head coach.
Yes.
Tell us about it, Ron.
Yes. Tosh Lupoi has been terrific. He really has. He's done some really good jobs for us so far. One of the things that's been exciting was obviously his ability to recruit, which has been fantastic. And as I said, it showed. I mean, with a 14th ranked portal and top 20 potential top 20 high school class, that's a big deal. Then the X's and O's. He's a very dynamic defensive coach. He's coached some top 10 teams, top 5 teams for that matter, defensively in the NCAA the last several years and been in the playoffs a lot. He went out and put together a very, very dynamic staff. Both his coordinators, he was able to steal them from the NFL. Jordan Summerlin, who's a terrific young talent as far as offensive coordinator is concerned, and Mike Hutch is a guy that we like a lot as far as defensive coordinator. So he's done a nice job assembling that kind of staff. And then the thing that he's tried to do right off the bat was develop culture. And that was, I think, very important because in today's game, you're bringing in so many new players. They've got to be able to be very comfortable and be a big part of developing and building a unit, a family unit per se, and a team. And so I think he's done a really nice, terrific job with that. And now it's a matter of getting through training camp, staying healthy, and hitting our stride early because we open up against UCLA at home.
We're going to talk about the schedule here in a second. It's a wild schedule, man. I am so excited. I am so excited for this year because we're going to have a lot of twists and turns and hopefully a lot of ups. Right, the schedule, it is tough but fair. We'll talk about that. But before we get there, I want to circle back to Tosh because as I understand the story, I don't know if this is true or not, but the day, as I understand it, the day he was hired, he didn't have a big press release. He didn't have a gala. He didn't go off and shake a bunch of hands. He hopped on an airplane and flew to Hawaii to meet in person with JKS and try to bring that talented freshman, then a freshman, back to the University of California at Berkeley. Is that a true story?
It is. And the credit goes to not just Tosh for doing what he did, but it's one of those things that, we were meeting and we were talking about it. Andrew McGraw, our chief of staff for football, the concern was because quite honestly, he had gone home that during the break period a little bit just before the school season started in January. JKS went home. His high school team was playing in the state championship, and so he goes home. Well, we announced the hiring of Tosh, bring him in for the press conference, and he wasn't there. So right off the bat, we start thinking the worst. And so Andrew said, well, somebody's got to go see him. We're trying to figure out who's going to see him. We mentioned it to Tosh, and Tosh says, I'll go. Well, he was in the bye week of the playoffs. So he had a little window of opportunity, and he took that window, flew out there, caught a late flight, got in, around midnight, and went directly to go see JKS and an opportunity to sit down and basically recruit him. Tosh wasn't part of the Oregon staff that was recruiting him originally, so they didn't have a lot of time together. So this was good for Tosh. This was good for JKS and his parents to see just how driven and dedicated Tosh was going to be to this program.
Well, I think that was amazing, and to me, that kind of speaks volumes. I mean, what I'm looking at, what you guys are putting together, I'm very impressed, right? I'm very impressed. Obviously, bringing JKS back, huge piece. You know, the dedication to kind of put the pieces around him that we're going to need to be successful. I love that Tosh is defensive minded. I love that he's defensive minded. I love that we're going to get back to the old, bear down. Well, I guess that's what Arizona calls it, but to me, that the bear defense has always been very strong, traditionally, and we got a little bit away from that. I think maybe in recent years, and I'd love to see us get very, very physical again. I feel like Coach Tosh is the guy who's going to get that done. We're going to get very hard nosed again, and we could be. I mean, I really feel like we could be an elite program this year. So I'm just looking forward to it, man.
I believe we can too. Again, you need a little luck too. Now, last thing we need is guys all of a sudden somebody get hurt. But I do think we've got enough depth that we can continue to be competitive. It's something we really hadn't in the past. It was something that we most certainly did look at and did mindfully as we went through these recruiting periods, both through the portal and through high school.
So let's go through the schedule real quick. We know September 5th, so this is going to drop on Monday. It'll be about less than 2 weeks from when we're going to be starting the season. Okay. Right, so September 5th, we've got UCLA. I don't know if you've got some advanced scouting that you want to share here on the air with us, but I mean, I feel like we're going to, hopefully I don't jinx this, but I feel like we match up pretty well in that game.
We should match up pretty well with them. They did a nice job, through the portal as well. They have a new coaching staff, brought the head coach in from James Madison, who had some success. He put together a decent staff for the most part, done a nice job recruiting. So Tosh played against James Madison in the college football playoffs. And he kept that same style of offense, that same style of defense. So Tosh is familiar with our first opponent as far as that's concerned. The biggest thing that we have to do is try and see what kind of comfort level we have and our matchups against his personnel in terms of the players that they have now. So that'll be a big part of it. We'll start getting into scouting reports probably next week sometime, so we can start planning and mapping out how we want to attack their team.
Well, I'm going to be excited. I think our team is going to be going out to watch that game. That's the home opener, September 5th against UCLA. Obviously, if you're a Golden Bear, you got to get out there and watch this game. But when I look forward to September 12th, and I know you don't have all the scouting yet, but when I look forward to September 12th, and now Cal's got to go, our Golden Bears have to go on the road to Syracuse. My goodness, that's a trip. I mean, you're going halfway around the world to get out to Syracuse. I know that Tosh will have his guys ready to go, but talk to me about the challenges and what the training's going to look like for that.
Well, like you said, the first challenge obviously will be that cross-country trip. It's probably one of the furthest trips we'll take all year. But get up to Syracuse. They're a veteran coaching staff. They've done a nice job as far as being competitive in the Big Ten. So we really think this is an opportunity though for us to, if we can get things going against UCLA and put ourselves in a real good position against Syracuse, we can start and be successful early on and gain some momentum. That's probably one of the biggest things I like to see us do is build up that momentum. That way, as we go forward, we can put ourselves in position to really, go through the following weeks as far as the season's concerned. Because, after that, we play a 1-2A program, Wagner. And again, that's a good situation for us as well.
Yeah, so I mean, I look at that Syracuse game and I view that like it's the second game of the season, but believe it or not, like I put a circle around that because it was like the Minnesota game last year, right? It's like this is where we find out like who we are. Like this is where we can rank ourselves, right? Because Syracuse is a good team. They've been a good team for the last 3 or 4 years. They're stat on defense. They've been they've demonstrated the ability to win tough games. So if we can go into Syracuse and find a way to win that, I'm going to come out of that game with tremendous confidence in this team. Even if and look, I'm not rooting for any kind of moral victories or anything, but even if we lose on a late field goal or something, which would be a heartbreak, but if we're playing tough and really matching up well in that environment against that team, I feel like that's going to put us on a really, really positive trajectory. So again, that's just, my dime store take here. But I'm definitely looking forward to that one.
No, I don't disagree with you. I think our first 2 games are the types of challenges that can really indicate and dictate where you are. You gain momentum off it. It dictates a chance to just roll and go forward, and build up the momentum you need. So to your point, coming out of that 2-0 could be a very good positive situation for us. They're both tough football games. They're against good programs. Now we can go ahead and see if we can set a tempo for the rest of the year for us.
I'm going to talk about 2 more games real quick. You know I've got to mention September 25th at home against Clemson. Now, last year Clemson was not Clemson of old, but still, that program, that nameplate, to bring them in, right, to Memorial Stadium and have a chance to maybe have our way with them. I am really looking forward to that one. I know the fans will be out for that one and fired up.
What's interesting was Clemson was one of those programs that were kind of like, you know what, we're not necessarily all in on the NIL program. They wanted to rely on their ability to go out and recruit. And unfortunately for them, last year, they had lost several good players to the portal without being able to replace them through the portal. So that was a little bit of test. This past year, I know Dabo Sweeney and his staff, they got to work. They were able to get into the portal, and they came out with a pretty good portal class as well. So to your point, yes, this is a good program. It's got a good name, good reputation. This will be the next big challenge for us. Again, they're in the ACC. To be able to play well against a team like that and come away with a victory is a good way to start your in-conference season.
What do you think? If we're a 3-0 Cal team, they're a 3-0 Clemson team. Do you think we get a game day like last year? What do you think? I'll call ESPN.
Oh, unfortunately, it's a Friday night game.
Oh, I didn't see that.
But I will say this: what I would love to do is, if that's the case, and it's going to be it's an ESPN game, I would encourage ESPN to bring a mini game day on campus, because I know we'd be happy to host it. If that works out, believe me, that'll be a phone call we will make to try and get that kind of visibility.
Love that. So looking through the rest of the schedule, we will have a tough one on the road against SMU on October 24th. We'll see kind of where our schedule is, by that point, what our record looks like. NC State on the road could be a challenge. But the last game that I am really, of course, looking forward to is the game that Troutman Amin will be the game sponsor for, which is the big game against Stanford. I know it's too far away. I know we can't scout it out or plan for it necessarily today, but just promise me, Coach. Promise me we're going to go in there. We're just going to smash these guys. No mercy. I want to win by 50, okay?
Believe me, that's always the plan. They're our rival. They got the best of us last year, so we owe them. We want to get after them. This will be a good matchup, too, because 2 new head coaches. Tavita Pritchard is their new head coach. I actually had Tavita on my coaching staff when I was with the Commanders. He's a good, young, dynamic guy. He's a Stanford guy through and through, played quarterback for Stanford. So he and Tosh are similar in that they've come home to their alma maters to be the head coaches. I love this matchup. I love this game, and I'm going to pull for, obviously, a Cal victory. That's for doggone sure.
Oh, man, yeah. We will be there in force, loud and proud, and losing our minds, and we cannot wait to storm that field when we get the axe back, and I am really looking forward to that already. That's months away, and I'm already fired up. I don't know if you can tell. So, one other thing I wanted to mention is, Troutman Amin is very proud to be supporting the Cal NIL program. I encourage any of my listeners, anyone with Cal roots, please look into supporting this NIL program. We've been fortunate enough to connect with Rico Walker and AJ Tuitele, and these guys have been fantastic for us, giving us great content, and really they're just such a great face for your organization. They're such smart, upstanding young men, in addition to being incredibly talented athletes, and we're so proud to be able to kind of help their journey as they advance through the college ranks and maybe into the NFL one day.
Yeah, I'll tell you, they're both solid young football players, guys that have an opportunity. Love to see them have strong, healthy careers and give themselves that opportunity to potentially take the next step. Rico's a dynamic wide receiver guy, tight end, has got a wide receiver ability. I mean, he runs well for a big man, he's got good hands, presents a really good target in the routes that he runs. So like him, want to see him get that chance to be one of those impact players for us. AJ Tuitele is a young guy. He's going into his second season. This is a guy that I believe has the ability to take another step with his game. He's young, he's dynamic, very bright, very physical kid who can make a mark. So these are 2 good, young, talented guys, to your point, and glad that they're there and representing you guys very well at Troutman Amin.
Absolutely. We're so pleased and so frankly very honored to be connected with them. And obviously, look, we're rooting for the entire team, right? There's no I in team. But, if Rico puts together a 3-touchdown game or something, I'd be okay with that, right? I'd be okay with that. So, ladies, any questions for the coach? Pooja, Brittany? I know you guys are fired up.
No, I don't have any questions. I'm just really excited for this season. Like, I always have such a great time at the games, and it sounds like we have a great lineup this year with a new coach. So I'm really excited to see what the team can bring.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the new coach. Right? He was just, it was really cool meeting him, and his energy is just so vibrant, and the excitement, you could just like hear it in his voice, right? It's like similar to Coach's excitement, like when we had him on the podcast last time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really looking forward to how this new coach does, because he seems amped, you know. So I'm
He's
excited.
intense.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
And of course, Coach, you know we have one more new Cal fan on the way.
I have my onesie ready for her.
So we'll, I'm not sure that she's going to be able to make the trip to watch a game this year, but we'll see. She's due in October. Right around right around the Virginia Tech game.
Yeah. Coach, I have to send you our announcement. We used the onesie you guys sent for our announcement. It was pretty cool.
Well, we appreciate that. We really do. And you guys support us, and at the least, we should most certainly support you guys, not just as Troutman Amin, one of our major sponsors, but as a Cal couple that has been really devout and have been behind us. So thank you guys very much for everything that you've done. I really do appreciate that. I know we as a university appreciate your support.
Absolutely. I think devout is the right word. I mean, it really is, it's like a pseudo-religious experience for us on Saturdays now. We get to go up there. We stay at the Claremont, right? We've got the little places where we like to eat now. We walk on over and we, it's the whole thing. We go on up and we enjoy the game. We get the street hot dogs on the way back. It's just, man, if you folks have not been to a game at Cal Memorial Stadium, I mean, I don't know why, Berkeley and Cal, their football program doesn't get the kind of love nationwide that it should. But that is as good a place as any to watch a football game. Now, I get it. It's probably not going to be as loud as some SEC schools. But, like, in terms of the overall venue and experience, it is a gorgeous place to watch a game. And the whole atmosphere on game day is as good as anywhere, I would say. So, encourage everyone to get out there.
Yeah, what's really neat, and you mentioned it earlier too, was when ESPN brought game day that week of the Miami game, and we showed out as a university that our potential and what we're capable of is what we need to be able to produce every week. And that's what we're hoping to do with this football team this season is, be a dynamic team, win a bunch of football games, and bring the crowd back to Cal and get things going in the right direction. And again, as I said, when we get support from folks like you at Troutman Amin, it gives us an opportunity to be competitive. So thank you guys.
Absolutely, Coach. All right, man, we appreciate your time. Any last thoughts that you'd like to share with the watchers?
I'll tell you what, show up, all right, because we need you. And again, if you're going to come to the games, be loud and proud and bring your friends. If you're going to watch us on TV, hey, that's another thing that's great because, again, we're going to be judged on the butts that get in the seats and the eyes on the television set. So thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Hey, go Bears, Coach. Go Bears.
Go Bears.
Go Bears.
Wow, that was amazing. I love Coach Rivera. He is such a gentleman. He's so classy. He's so intelligent. We'll start with you. What'd you think, Ollie?
During my undergrad at UCLA, the best thing about going to the games were being able to go up to Cal. I have friends who went to Cal coming down to LA, and I wish Cal all the success in the ACC, but the saddest thing for me is just the fact that they now play a lot of East Coast games. It's not like you can go up the street, take a 1-hour flight as a college student. That was the best way to support your team and for them to come down to Pasadena. So, but Coach Rivera is just an amazing guy. Cal looks really revamped. I'm really excited, not just for UCLA and Clemson and Stanford, but Virginia Tech is going to be a great game. I think NC State is going to be a great game. I think those two are going to be a very defensive-heavy game. So, yeah, love the guy, love the program. Go Golden Bears. And I mean that genuinely. And I mean that genuinely
so
because it's, Cal and UCLA look out for each other. At least we always did. So, you know, we still have that UC pride in both
Yeah.
of us.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because I let the ladies ask a question. I didn't let you ask a question.
He's biting his tongue.
What were you going to ask Coach Rivera had I let you? Which I'm glad I didn't, because you would have said something stupid about UCLA.
No, honestly, it was kind of, you guys alluded to the NIL. I was really just curious to see what challenges he and Cal have faced with recruiting, with getting money, fundraising in the age of NIL. I know so many coaches have left or have signaled troubles about, you know, NIL is completely different now. It has changed the game. So just, you know, almost insider information on that. And then just the perception that, you know, SEC and Big Ten they have the perception they run college football. But I don't necessarily think that. I think ACC and the Big 12 have just as much of a say in everything. And, you know, just wanted to see what his thoughts are on, you know, last year only Miami made the college football playoff when Duke won the ACC championship.
Well, I'm glad I didn't ask you, see, because you know,
But-
I'm not sure I would have wanted to hear his take on that. to
No,
be
but
honest.
it was just the ACC, like, you know, where it's going, where he sees it going this year as a whole, and that in and of itself. So
Well, I mean, you know, unpackaging the mysteries of college football and why the perception is always that the Big Ten is like the best league in the nation, which going back to 2006, that's just not been the case.
Yeah.
The SEC, I think, has really definitely earned the respect that it gets. I mean, they've been a tremendous conference for many years. But the bottom line is, as you know, man, that's where the money is,
Yeah.
right? And the ACC has been retooled. The Big 12, has been massively retooled. I mean, that is not
Yeah.
this is not your dada's, you know,
Yeah.
Big 12. I mean, this is a totally different conference, and you know, I'd love to see the traditional conferences get realigned. That's never going to happen. But no, look, let's not nerd out too much with college football. Let's see what the ladies have to say. Britt, what'd you think?
Well, I always love speaking to Coach Ron. Last time when we had him on our podcast, I mean, he just brings such a great energy to the show, I think. And we usually have people in the industry or plaintiffs' counsel just brings a different type of energy. And so I love it when he comes on and he's just always so lively. But I went to UC Irvine, so we didn't have a football team there. And so I didn't really experience the college football lifestyle or people going to football games in college. That's kind of what I think I missed out on in undergrad. And so now that I'm getting the opportunity to experience going to the games and, well, especially Cal games, the Berkeley games, it's just, I have an incredible time. Like the hospitality there is amazing. And just even being on the field, like we get the experience and opportunity to go on the field with the players. It's just an amazing opportunity. And I have so much fun.
It's a great time. And you did great today on the podcast, as always. It's great to have you. And the glasses are back, so good job. And my love, my wife, you're cooking a Cal fan in there.
I am cooking at Cal. She better go to Cal.
Yeah,
You
you
start
do you
now,
think she'll
okay?
go to Cal?
You start now. Trying to make her smart enough to go to Cal. And you know, that's the greatest thing I love about Cal, right? It's such a great educational program, and the energy that Ron Rivera brings, right, and that the new coaches bringing, it kind of like matches that like elite standard that Cal brings as like an institution, right? Being the first university of California, right? I agree with you, Rick. It just does not get enough attention,
No.
right? Including the football team, right? And so, you know, just like Britt, you know, like I didn't have a undergrad or a law school that had a football, culture within it. And so I love Cal for bringing me into that college fandom, right? And kind of like learning a little bit about it, because there's so much intelligence that goes behind college football too. And so it's kind of sad that Cal's hasn't traditionally been a better team, right? A better football team, because their educational program is so wonderful. So I'm hoping that the football team can kind of match that and can kind of all come together this season.
Yeah, you know, Cal has just always been underrated, but from a certain perspective, it's on the fans, right?
Yeah.
The perception of a football program in college, right, where traditionally not the teams don't always play each other, and now we've got, you know, the playoffs, so you can learn a lot more in in head-to-heads. But traditionally, you didn't have that. Traditionally, you had, you know, newspaper reporters and coaches on polls determining who the best teams in the country are, and a lot of that was the eyeball test, and a lot of the eyeball test was how energized is the fan base, how often are they turning out or not turning out, and God bless Cal, right? Like we pump out some incredibly intelligent, but like, you know, we're very kind of eclectic, free thinking, and somewhat you know, I was gonna say selfish. That's the wrong word, but a little bit self-absorbed in the sense that like Cal grads, like we're super smart, we're super bright, but we're kind of generally in our own thing, right? And
In the
it's,
books.
it's hard. It's hard for like Cal grads, like you know, like by and large, you know, to. I mean, look, compare your typical Cal student to your typical SEC student,
Right.
Just instantly start analyzing these personality types, right? And the Cal student, by and large, is going to be having, let's just say, different interests and different fascinations and different time commitments in certain things that they're going to be more focused on, just generally. And I know these are horrible stereotypes, but it's also true, right? And so we really have a situation where Cal has always been an above average football program, in my opinion. Even when we had really bad years, like we still had a talented bunch. We've always been at least marginally deep, and we always, as we talked about before, have had great skill players, and we are DBU, right? Defensive back university. We always have great DBs. So when you look at the talent that Cal has generated throughout the years, the reason why I think we've always been treated as something of a middling program is really just our fan base has just not gotten out there and been energized the way that we should. And I'm so glad that you and Brittany, you guys were not college football fans, right? Mm-hmm. And now you're getting out there, you're watching the games, and you're like, holy crap, this is awesome.
much
Yeah.
fun.
It's awesome. So again, I would encourage all of you, particularly you Cal fans, right? Like you've got to support this program. You know, if you went to the University of California at Berkeley, right? Like I know you're probably a great fan of the school. So get out there and support the program any way you can. Even if you're not a Berkeley grad, if you don't have a rooting interest, I mean, this team this year, I think it's going to be really a ton of fun. I'm always excited every year, right? I'm always kind of, that stupid fan that's like, oh, this is our year, right? But in all seriousness, I'm much more energized and excited this year than I think I've literally ever been. So, I'm not sure if that's an early indicator of success or failure. We'll find out.
Oh, no.
But I really think that we're going to do a great job this year. So I'm super excited. I love our sponsorship. I love our NIL. I love that we are the official law firm of Cal Athletics and the University of California at Berkeley. Oh, man, it makes me so proud to be able to say that. And it makes me so proud to say, go Bears. I hope that you have enjoyed this, our 46th edition of the Deserve to Win podcast. See you next time. Bye, everybody.